Okay, I just finished watching Alaye by Ruth Kadiri. It's showing on Amazon Prime. So, first of all, it's good that Ruth is branching out of YouTube. But the first thing I'm going to say about this film is that it is better off on YouTube. That's the vibe it gave me. It's nothing. Anyways, let's get into the summary of the film. So, we start off with this lady that borrowed money from a ruthless moneylender who is after her life because she's unable to pay back after borrowing money from him for her father's kidney transplant. And at the end of the day, her father died. But this moneylender is not even ready to hear anything. He wants his money ASAP, ASAP, okay? And he's on her neck. So this lady, which is Ruth Kadiri, she has a friend, and that's her friend, his her cousin is looking for a place to stay in Lagos while his visa to travel abroad is being processed. Okay. So her cousin happens to be Brother Shaggy, and Brother Shaggy pays Ruth Kadiri some amount of money, in order to stay at her place in Lagos. And the money is not complete for the money Ruth is owing, but Ruth manages to pay the guy that she's owing, and he gives her some time to pay the remaining balance. So as the story goes on, Brother Shaggy and Ruth clash because their personalities are so different. Brother Shaggy is noisy and he brings his friends over or his friend over and mess up the whole place. He will eat her food, he will put on loud music, he will disturb her peace and all those kind of things. So Ruth is like, look, I don't want this guy to stay in my house. She calls her friend to talk to her cousin and tell him to move out of her place, but it doesn't work because he already paid to stay there, right? So as the story goes on, we find out that Ruth has a fiance, and her fiance proposes to another girl, and that is when we now find out the true nature of Brother Shaggy. Because from the first impression we got in the story, you think that he's this comic character, always noisy to the end of the movie. But then we find out that do not judge a book by the cover, all right? Brother Shaggy confronts Ruth's fiance and beats him up and stuff like that. Do you get? So we find out that Brother Shaggy is actually a nice person. Ruth finds out that, oh, her conclusion of Brother Shaggy is not really what it is. He is not that kind of person. He is strongly against domestic violence and intimidation of women and stuff like that. You understand? That is the good part of the story. It touches themes of love, kindness, and domestic violence. Now, why I said that this movie is better off on YouTube is because that is the vibe it gives. There is nothing spectacular about the film. There is nothing extraordinary about the film that will make us be like, oh, it's above YouTube standard. It's not above YouTube standard though. The cinematography is good, quite alright. It's a very nice cinematography. The color is good, sound, everything, but it remains a YouTube material. There's no need going through the stress of leaving YouTube to go and watch it. Thank God it's not even on Netflix or cinemas because there's no depth to the story. There are some parts of the story that could have been explored, you understand, to give more details to the story, but major parts of the story that could have been explored had little to no detail to it. And then there was inconsistency in the character, especially the character of Gabi that was played by Zeke Saloma. There was inconsistency because he was made to be this ruthless moneylender, but at the end of the day he's just a chicken, you understand. So there was a little flop in that area. And then the continuity and the change in moods, I really got lost at some point. I was watching this movie and I slept off, I swear to God, and then I woke up and completed it. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's basically it. There are some parts of the story that could have actually added details to the story. There are some backstories that were lacking, and yeah, that's just it. It should have remained on YouTube. It was obvious that this movie is a low budget movie, from the casting to the way it was rushed, and mainly the main part of the film, or is it the main part of the film? The major scenes. How do I put it? Most of the scenes happened between Ruth and Brother Shaggy. You understand? And some of them were just filler scenes. Okay, so for a movie that is branching out of YouTube, there could have been more depth to the story. There could have been more explored aspects of the story, and that's basically it. So would I watch this movie again? For watch and make I bend. Should you go and watch it? I really don't know because it's just a basic, very basic story. Even there are YouTube films that are better than this, and that's just the whole this thing vibe of the story. That is the end of my review. Peace.